Another common thing you'll do is open up files inside of Photoshop. Now these files can be image files or they can be Photoshop files that you can work on and edit. So let's go ahead and take a look at that real quickly. Now, whenever we come to this screen, we can see all of our recent files, and you can see that we have the baby.jpg that we used in a lesson, and then we have a baby.psd file that I created for you to take a look at after we finished that lesson. But we could click on these and open them up immediately, or we might need to browse for our files and find those and open those up. So how would we do that? If I click on open, it brings up the open dialog box here. Now we can see that we're working on the opening files in Photoshop lesson, and under resources we have these three images. Now we could select one of these and hit open, or we could click and drag and select all of them, or we could hit Control or Command and select multiple files, or while holding Control or Command deselect those files. So we can open all of these at once if we'd like to. So I'll select all of them and hit open, and it's going to bring all three of those in for us. And we can see that we have blossom.jpg, lily.jpg, and rose.jpg. So pretty easy to bring in files directly into Photoshop. Now we can also bring in Photoshop files that are editable, so that any changes you make, you can go on and edit those later on also, which is really great because these are just images, they're JPG files, and if we make any edits and save them as a JPG file, when we come back in Photoshop, we won't be able to change any of those edits. But if we use a Photoshop file, we will be able to. So we'll go ahead and save these out and take a look at what that looks like also. So let's go ahead and grab rose.jpg. Just like before, I'm going to click on this layer and I'm going to drag it over to blossom.jpg and just drop it in there. It didn't center, so I'll take the move tool and center it up. Then we'll go to lily.jpg. We'll grab that one. We'll bring it in. Okay, and now we have three layers. I'm going to go ahead and just close out rose.jpg and lily.jpg, and we have blossom.jpg, and we have our background layer, layer 1 and layer 2. If I turn off the visibility, you can see those layers here. So now, if I were to save this as JPG, what would happen is it would save what we're looking at. We would just see this flower as an image, and we wouldn't be able to make any changes. But say we do want to make changes later on, we need to save this out as a PSD file. So I'm going to go to File, and I'm just going to save this real fast. And we'll just name it Blossom, or we can even call it Flowers. And here we have the different ways to save. So we have Save as Type, Photoshop, and when we click on that, we have all these different ways. Again, if I saved it as a JPG, it would save it as an image, and all you would see is that one flower. But we want to edit this later on. So let's save it as a Photoshop file. It will save it out as a .psd file, and hit Save. And it says, turn on maximum compatibility. Turning this off may interfere with the use of PSD files and other applications, or with other versions of Photoshop. And we can change this in our preferences under file handling and file compatibility. That's fine. Don't show this again. We don't need to see this. Hit OK. Okay, now it's saved out that file. Instead of it being called blossom.jpg, it's now called flowers.psd, and we still have our layers. Let's go ahead and close that out. And now we have those images that we opened up here, and we see our flowers.psd file. Again, I can click on the open button, and we have our three image files, and then we have a PSD file called flowers. So if we select that and we hit open, it brings up that Photoshop file, and now we have full control to be able to edit those layers and save them out again as a Photoshop file, or when we're finished, we can send it out as the final image file that we would like. So that is how you open up inside of Photoshop. There's also some other options that you can choose. So you can do an open as, and this will allow you to actually set how you would like to open up this document. So you might want to actually open it up as a different file type. There is open as smart object, and we'll talk about smart objects later on, but basically you saw how smart layers and smart objects worked already in the template lesson, so you can actually open this up as a smart object. And we have the ability to open recent. So here you can see all of our recent files, and we can clear that recent file list if it begins to get too long, but we have quick access to click on one of these and it'll open it up right for us. So that is how you can open up files inside of Photoshop, and Photoshop handles a wide range of files from image file types to Photoshop files and a whole bunch of others that we will take a look at a little bit later on.